Ready? Get set.
Hello, entrepreneurs, dreamers, business owners, and happy people with high hopes. Welcome to Cashflows with your host, Cash Matthews.
All right, welcome to Cashflows. I'm your host today, Cash Matthews. We're very glad you're here. You know, this page is, man, I feel like I'm talking on Facebook Live all of a sudden.
Well, I mean,
you know, this podcast coming to you live from Tulsa, Oklahoma, but not really live. We're filming this in 1978, and we're in our Wayback Time machine, knowing that podcasts would be a thing one day. And
right.
Anyway, you know, life can be difficult. It's so interesting in the world of business and finance and relationships and health and so many different things about business that, you know, it's easy to get stuck in the mud. And, you know, I've always believed that it's okay to copy off of your neighbor. And I got busted in the third grade for that. But, you know, I learned about the age of 20 that copying off of successful people is probably the smartest thing you can do. So we employ a theory called fire, aim, ready, because we believe that taking action quickly and repetitively and consistently is just about as an important thing as you can do. It supersedes your degree. It supersedes your pedigree. And it is one of the things that anybody can do, and that is take action. Perfect action? Nah, just regular old basic forward-moving action. And so fire, aim, ready. And I am ready to introduce our executive producer, Mr. Kenneth B.O.N.G. Kenneth, good day.
Howdy, how's it going?
I'm honestly having the time of my life.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm having a decent amount of fun as well.
Yeah, I like not getting much sleep and working a bunch. Those are all, that's the badge of honor out there in the world today is to just not get any sleep. So I finally earned a badge of honor. But no, we're having a good time and we're meeting some great people.
Yeah, we are.
And I'm psyched about that.
And we've got more of them going to come up on the show today.
We have a great one today. I cannot wait to introduce Tyler Troxell. We'll do that in a moment. But
yeah, I was going to say, you will have to wait because we're going to start with a BizBite, right?
BizBite?
Yeah. You may have heard of this before.
Well, I don't know. Let's hear about it again.
BizBites?
Oh, yeah. I recall now. I sure do.
BizBites?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of puts me in the mood to do a BizBite.
Let's talk about entrepreneurship with smooth jazz.
I don't know what cognac is, but if I drink it, this would be the time I would have a little. You do, cognac's a drink, right?
I'm aware of that.
I've heard cool people talking about it, but anyway, welcome to BizBites. It's part of Cashflows, sponsored by Kenneth B.O.N.G. Actually, we'll get back to that, but you know, I have worked with entrepreneurs literally for 42 continuous years. And it is the joy of my life. I love to work with entrepreneurs. I believe entrepreneurs are the absolute backbone of this country. They're one of the many things that make our country great, but becoming an entrepreneur is a whole lot more than just getting an LLC and running face forward into it. And I want to talk about the 4 building blocks of entrepreneurship before we get into our show. And there's 4 things that are 100% essential on each of the things. That adds up to 400%, but hey, ours go to 11. And so I want to talk about the 4 essential building blocks of any business, anywhere, for any person, regardless of experience or background. So block number 1 is this. You must be good at something. Real simple. You got to be good at something. You've got to have competence. You've got to have mental competence. You have to have clarity. You have to be good at what you do. Do you have to be the best in the world? Nah. I don't think that's essential. I just think you have to be good enough that people will use your services or products. Box number 1 is getting good at something. Box number 2 is learning how to run your business. See, you can be great at something, but not know how to run a business. You still ain't going to make it. You got to learn to run your business. And so that, you know, the hard part for entrepreneurs is you're great at making pies, and then all of a sudden you're doing taxes and HR and janitorial and all of these other things that aren't about your specialty. But I can assure you those things are equally important, just as important as your craft. So somehow you have to learn to run a business, or you have to have the resource to hire somebody to run the business. Building block number 2, you must run a business. Number 3, you got to be great at marketing. You either have to have a marketing team, you have to do it yourself, but it is essential that the world knows you exist. Look around right now. How many people know you exist? Which is bigger, the people that know you exist or the people that don't know you exist? Probably the people that don't know you exist. How do you reach them? You know, marketing is such a big word. We'll go into that at a later time. In fact, if you want to go over these 4 building blocks with me or Kenneth, you can reach us at Cashflows at TulsaB.com. And we're going to go into the 4th one now. And for me, it's the most important. You have to have business. You have to have a business that pays you. You have to have a business you can run. You have to have a business you can market. But you also have to have a business that lets you have a life. Because what good is it if you're who's who in business, but who's he at home? And you don't want to do that. You know, there's a period, Kenneth, where we're all single-minded, focused, and but that's when we're 13. But later in life, when we start a business, you know, we have to be single-minded about the business. We have to run it. We have to market it. And man, you absolutely have to have the right kind of balance at home. You don't want to sacrifice your family, your kids, your faith, your hobbies, the things you love to do. God gave us this life to live, and it's not just about work. So take a few minutes for yourself. Make sure you're running your business right, but also make sure you're building the life that you don't need a vacation from. And those are our daily Biz Bite.
That's awesome.
Well,
I love it.
Thank you for that. Well, listen, we're going to jump in here. We have a friend in the studio today that we met through this business owners networking group thing that has run amok in Tulsa. And we have with us today in the studio, Mr. Tyler Troxell. Tyler, welcome to the show.
Good to be here, Cash. Thank you so much for having me on.
Dude, I'm so glad you're here today. You know, we're going to talk about your business and expertise in a minute, but we met at the B.O.N.G group.
Yep.
That was a good day.
Man, that was an awesome day. And it was cool, too, because seldom in your life you meet people who have clearly done the things that they said that they set out to do.
Right.
And I try and learn from everybody that I can, everybody across from me, whether they've succeeded or failed. And it was obvious when we met and you started talking that I need to pay attention because you have
Thank you for
done the things that you've said you were going to do.
Well, I mean, if you can't get it right after 42 years, you're probably not going to get it right. But thank you for that. I appreciate those words. So you've become actually a vibrant member of the B.O.N.G in a short amount of time. How long have you been in this networking group?
Probably May or June, so not quite a year.
Yeah, 7 or 8 months maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but you've come on strong. You've met a lot of people. I know you've made friends with people.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the best part.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just making friends with people.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't until he and I went on a cruise together that we really kind of started putting our brains together, and they actually equaled one regular-sized brain.
One regular-sized brain.
Yeah,
yes.
we got, you know,
yeah.
we're 2 or better than 1 or
something like that.
something. Yeah, I don't remember how that thing goes. But
It's one of my favorite things about this group is it's not supposed to be a place for sales. It's not supposed to be a place where you go out going, buy my thing, right?
Yeah.
It's a place where you go and meet people and you learn from other business owners, hey, what's working for you?
Yeah.
And that has been a great blessing for my business.
Very good. Well, we're super glad to have you here. I'm going to read your address out very quickly.
Wonderful.
And you can meet Tyler Troxell online in our Facebook group at the Tulsa Business Owners Networking Group, the Tulsa B.O.N.G. You can connect with him through TulsaB.com, and you can also find him at his company website, AegisSecurity.tech. Aegis is AEGIS, and security, I have no idea how to spell that, but AegisSecurity.tech. And you can reach out to him. He is quick to respond, would love to take your phone call or email, and you can find all of that through AegisSecurity.tech, and Aegis is AEGIS. So, Tyler, let's talk a little bit about you and your company. You seem to be having a pretty good run with things. Tell us about Aegis Security. And we're going to talk about the business a little bit. We're going to talk about you a little bit. We may talk about the business a little bit more. Kenneth has 3 dad jokes he has not released yet for the day.
That's right.
It's his quota. We're quota-driven dad joke
That's right.
organization. Tell us about your family real quick.
Sure, yeah. So I have a wife. Her Her name's Cassidy. She's wonderful. We have a cat together. He's black and a butthead.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. This morning I woke up to him standing on my chest, meowing as loud as he can. It was great.
Yeah?
Just the best way to wake up. But yeah, we have 5 chickens who are loving the 4-degree temperatures.
Right.
Just loving it. And
are they lay eggs?
yes, so they do lay eggs. When it gets this cold, they tend to slow down a lot.
Right.
Yeah. But even when it's cold, they usually will still lay, or at least ours will.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, they typically lay about 5, well, 1 per chicken, so 5 a day.
1 per chicken daily?
Yep. We can't eat them fast enough.
Yeah. I love that. I love the chicken business and the honeybee business. I love all of that stuff. I think it's just
a lot of fun. And they are adorable little psychopaths.
That sounds about right.
Oh, yeah. They're little velociraptors.
Yeah?
Yeah. They got a vole in there once, and they caught it.
Oh,
Wow.
do you know what a vole is?
Well, it's a cousin of the mole. I don't know. I just made that up.
Like, mix a mouse and a mole.
Yeah. I guess it could be a cousin.
It's called a vole.
Vole, yeah. VOLE.
It is now o'clock when I first heard the
Now
word.
o'clock. See, I need a sound for the now o'clock.
You know,
Because we've done that so many times.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk to people, you start to learn stuff.
You do.
I have learned about voles.
Here we are.
All right. Well, so do you live out? You must live out in the country. You don't live in an apartment.
No, we don't live in an apartment. We live out in Collinsville. We don't have a lot of land, but it's enough. And with chickens, they really don't need a lot of room.
Right.
We've got a little chicken coop that keeps them safe. Lock them in there at night. Strange story, we actually had to put locks on a chicken coop, of all things.
Wow. Why?
I never thought in my entire life, growing up on a farm, mind you, that I would have to put locks on a chicken coop, because we had somebody hop our fence, come into our yard, and let all our chickens out at midnight.
That's rude.
Wow.
I don't understand it. Like, all you had to do was ask. We would have let you play with them.
Yeah.
That
All right, there's a criminal out there in the world in the Collinsville area. Hope when you hear this, he'll let you play with the chickens.
All you got to do is ask.
Just ask. I think that's a great sentiment. And you let them run around and do all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you know what that would be called?
Chicken run? Oh.
Poultry in motion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll come back and hit you a little bit later. So you work in the security business, and I want to get to that, but I want to get up to this point where you pulled the trigger on being a self-employed dude.
Oh, man.
Were you employed before? Did you have a traditional job?
Yes.
Yeah? What was that like?
So I worked as an alarm and camera technician for T&T Security in Tulsa.
Okay.
They got me trained on alarms and camera systems, and that really is what funded my schooling and my research into data security and IT, which was really what I wanted to be doing. But, you know, I'm getting married at the time, and I got to put food on the table, and it's kind of important. So I had to have a job, and it was in that job, I'd go into people's houses all the time, and I'd go into people's houses from just the cheapest, falling apart houses that, you know, you look at and you go, I don't know if I would buy this house even if I could.
Right.
And then you go into other houses of people that, you know, I went to Hewlett Packard's house. I went to Packard. I went to his house. I worked on the guy that owns Kingfisher Airlines. It's a 4-story house made completely out of marble. I've gotten to go into some really cool houses, and I made a point of asking different people when I'd go into their house, how'd you get where you are?
Right.
What can I learn from you? And most of the time, they'd take the time to tell you. If you asked them, if you just said, hey, if you had one piece of advice for me, what would it be? How did you get where you are? And one of the things I learned very quickly is the people who made it, the people who have these businesses, they're no different from anybody else. They're just people.
They just have different behavior.
They have different behavior.
Yeah.
They made a choice, and they pursued it. And for some of them, it worked out, and for some of them, it didn't.
Sure.
But there's no magical pixie dust that they have that somebody else doesn't have, right?
And I believe that 100% because I believe that if one can, all can.
Yeah.
And some of these people that you've met and that we've met in business, they are exceptional in how they stuck to basic goals and dreams.
Yeah. And I thought, why can't I have that?
I think that's a great question. I think that's on the front end of all entrepreneurship. Why can't I have time freedom, money freedom, vacation freedom, all of and it just takes a while. But
it does.
Man, the thing is it worth it?
I think so.
To me, it's been, it's hard for everybody, but it's been worth it. So.
And I also think it's not necessarily an obligation, but for me, I don't hold other people to this standard, but I hold me to this standard. There are a lot of people in the world that don't have the opportunities that I have.
Right.
So if I look at those opportunities and I say, yeah, I just don't care. For me, that's not good enough. Again, I'm not going to hold somebody else to that standard, but for me, I am going to pursue the opportunities that are laid in front of me because I can and because someone else probably wishes they could.
Because I can. That's one of the most valid reasons anywhere. So tell our audience who's listening in a little bit broader perspective. Who is Tyler Troxell?
I'm a husband. I hope to be a father one day. I love paintball and board games. They're my two hobbies. I mean, really, if it's decent weather or I can go get some friends out or something like that, which happens most weekends, then I'll be out playing paintball. I try and go at least twice a month.
Wow.
But it also depends. With Christmas this year, I didn't get to go very much, just a lot of family time, which is good. I love family time.
Yeah.
And also board games. I mean, that's Saturday. We had a family board game day. Everybody came over to the house, and we had, I don't even remember how many board games we had, and we broke them all out and played them. It was great.
Did you see the board game I got from one of our guests a couple weeks ago?
I sure did. It was.
What's the name of that board game?
It was pretty cool. It was. It has its own theme song, I think.
Cool story, bro. The game was cool story, bro.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome little board game.
Camry, gave that to us, and we were messing around with it last night. It was awesome. Well, very cool. Do you have a favorite board game?
Yes, Spirit Island.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's a strategy game.
Okay.
It's like reverse Catan. You're trying to defend the island from the settlers coming to ravage it.
Okay.
I haven't heard of Catan either, but I was more. So you're not playing Mousetrap?
No.
Or Battleship?
I mean, I have played those for sure.
You sang my Battleship. All right. So I know your faith is important to you.
Oh, yes.
And were you brought up in the faith?
I was. My parents did a very good job teaching me as I grew up what was truth.
Right.
And as I got older in life, I learned to understand not just that it was true, but why it is true. Why do I know that it's true?
That's a little deeper.
Very cool. And when my wife and I got married, we were struggling to find a church. And we bounced around for a couple of years trying to find a good place. And eventually we found Evergreen down on 111th and Mingo.
Okay.
And that church is exactly what we needed.
Very cool.
We needed a place that would encourage us and lift us up and help us develop those good habits like reading the Word every day.
Right.
Building Christian people around us.
Those are character blocks. Like we have business blocks. Those are character blocks you should read every day.
You should. And after long enough of doing that, the byproduct of being active in the Word it's incredible, the effect it has had on our relationships with other people.
Right.
Our attitude, everything, every aspect of how we interface with the world, it is a continual improvement.
Well, good. I mean, I think that's as important as anything we'll talk about in a little bit. Let's talk about your business a little bit because I'm interested. I'm a fan. What on earth does Aegis mean?
Aegis is
is it Aegis?
Well, so originally The actual word is an Old English word, Aegis, and it means shield.
Oh, okay.
I found out after naming the business that apparently I am not good at picking common words. Most people have no idea what that word means, and I didn't know that at the time.
Right.
And so I talked to people, and everyone said Aegis. And I thought, well, I'm not going to spend all of my time correcting people and going, well, you need to say it this way, because it's just not that important.
So is it Aegis or Aegis?
Aegis is the official business name.
Okay. Well, you can say any word however you want to say it.
It's true. Yeah.
Like
it's true.
I often tell people my name is Cash. No, that's not good. Long conversation there.
Wow.
Well, good for you. I mean, so you picked that name because it means shield, and that has a story. You won't always have some interviewer asking you, "Hey, what's the origin and the Greek etymology of this word?"
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Well, you mentioned a little bit about your first job, but I want to hear about the moment when you flipped the switch and you're the self-employed guy now. I want to. I love hearing about the first day. Like, hey, honey, I'm doing this, and she's like, okay, dear, but I'm really doing it. Oh, okay, I believe you. Just
for us, it was a little different.
Yeah, walk us through that. I want to hear this one.
I was doing some contracting work for an alarm company in town. Okay. And at this point, I had gotten all of my IT stuff together that I wanted to get a business rolling.
That makes sense.
But I didn't have, for lack of a better term, I didn't have a kick in the pants to actually get it going.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Because what I had was a skill set that I thought was marketable, and I had the tools to make it happen, but maybe not the confidence to do so. Yeah, I kept doing those. Well, I need something else.
You were kind of kicking the can down the road in lieu of getting another product or another tool.
Pretty much. So I had an ethical disagreement with the company that I was working for.
Ooh, sweet.
I was asked to do some things that I just refused to do.
Right.
And so we parted ways. And it was almost my birthday. It wasn't exactly my birthday, but it was pretty close.
Right.
And I'm driving home from work that day, and I felt so good.
Ooh.
And I just felt liberated. And so I come home, and...
Now, had you quit at this point?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you like, hey, boss.
Yeah, we had some words. I basically told them I'm not doing that, and here's why, and they started screaming at me. And I thought, okay, well, if you're going to scream at me over this, then I'm definitely not working here.
Definitely not going to do that.
Yeah.
Did you call them and say, hey, I can't come back? I have a vision problem. I can't see working here.
No, I was standing in front of the guy's face.
Oh, you said it. Okay.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he tried to call the police on me, and I said, well...
On you?
Yes. And I said, well, okay, I have some of your stuff in my truck. Can I at least unload your things off of my truck before I leave? And he calmed down real fast at that point. He said, yes. Okay, unload my truck. Here's the paperwork for the day. Walked out. But yeah, so I was on my way home, and I just felt liberated. Got to the house and said, well, I don't have a job anymore, but I'm kind of happy about that. And she just looks at me like, well, I'm going to trust you. And so I started getting the business running, getting it off the ground. I had all the legal paperwork ready to be filed. So filed all the paperwork and was off to the races trying to figure out how to sell, because now I had all of this technical expertise as an IT guy.
Yeah, you knew how to do the thing.
Yeah, and as an alarm and camera technician, guess what I don't know how to do?
Yeah, market yourself.
Market or sell.
Run the business.
Oh, yeah. So I hit the ground running. Yep. Yep.
Well, I know that's been a challenge to you.
Oh, it has. And it continues to be a challenge. I mean, that's actually my my target for 2024.
Yeah.
I had a plan in 2023, and my plan was I'm bad at networking, and I want to fix that problem. So I sat down with every single person who would sit down with me.
I view you as an excellent networker, because about every other post I see on Facebook, it's you talking to somebody that you like. And You look very accomplished at it. I'll just say that, and I pray that the Bong has given you some foothold in networking.
Oh, it has for sure.
Yeah, we love watching it. We're going to take a quick break and talk to Mr. Kenneth about one of our sponsors. Kenneth, who we got?
Embark on a journey into the realm of affordable custom gifting and branded excellence with CM Customs. From custom trophies to personalized closing gifts, lake maps, drinkware, and professional branding items, we are your go-to for unmatched customization, making you the hero of every occasion. Learn more at shopcmcustoms.com.
Another of my favorite people right there. I love CM Customs. We've shopped with them a bunch, and they've been a big bonus in our life. Do you know Clarence over at CM Customs?
Oh, yeah, he's fantastic. He's made some things for me as well.
Oh, yeah, that guy's a rock star. Okay, so you had the words. You quit your job. Hey, honey, I've quit my job. What's for dinner? Is it loose like that, or is it like, I've quit my job?
No, it was more I call her on the way home and say, okay, don't freak out.
Okay.
It's going to be okay.
Sentences that start with don't freak out cause me to freak out.
Well, and I feel like she trusts me enough at this point that if I tell her, hey, it's going to be okay, she can pre-decompress.
She may need a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
But the cool part about it, though, is, when I call her and I tell her, hey, I no longer am employed, but I have a plan. Oh, and by the way, I haven't felt this good in a long time.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
Well, I think it's beautiful because a lot of people, that first day on the ground, when it's like, okay, I wake up, alarm clock, I don't have to get up.
Yep.
Like that's your first moment of greatness or not so greatness. Sounds like how long did it take you to get it running?
Well, I almost had it running right when COVID hit. Yep. So my
Hey, honey, I'm starting a business, but I wanted to let you know in advance the world is shutting down.
Yes, and that was great. Man, I had jobs scheduled on the books, equipment purchased. And I call them, hey, I'm on my way, and they go, yeah, we're gonna not do that.
Not so quick,
yeah,
partner.
Yeah.
Why don't you wait about a year?
Yeah, and then, hey, you wanna reschedule that? And no, we're gonna wait and see what happens.
Yeah, I think that was a lot of the world.
It was, and so I had to during COVID, I had to pick up a part-time job shortly after having just left a job. Right. But now I'm doing it with a strategy. I had a purpose. And so I picked up a part-time job, and with that I was able to work on all of my own free time to get this thing off the ground and learn marketing. Right. And it started picking up, went full-time, haven't looked back.
Very cool. So why the IT industry? Is that something you were gifted in? You had broken into a lot of computers?
I loved playing with computers and breaking them.
Right. Not breaking into them, breaking them.
Well, yeah, both. They're not that different. But yeah, no, I love playing with computers. And so many people I'd talk to, and they'd say, oh, computers are the bane of my existence.
Right.
I hate working with them. I hate messing with them. I just don't want to deal with it. And then in business, that problem is multiplied exponentially.
Sure. Because
now you have business owners who are trying to run a business and make money, and their computers are costing them money instead of making them money.
Yeah, and if their computer breaks, they lose money, but if you mess up, they really lose money for a longer period of time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if I can be the guy that comes in and says, hey, these are the things that you're doing or that your computers are doing or however, whatever the problem is, and this is costing you dollars. Let's change this so now, not only is it not costing you dollars, we might even be able to improve your productivity and make you more money than you were to begin with. It's
a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are common kinds of issues that we see or that you see in the IT industry? And IT really is not just security. Is that an okay thing to say?
No, of course, yeah.
Yeah. How broad is this word? What does IT even stand for?
Information technology.
That's what I meant to say.
Yeah, you got it from the beginning.
Man, there's so many of the acronyms. Yeah. I have no idea what they mean.
It wasn't my first guess, but it was a pretty good one.
It's just acronym soup, too. The IT is about as broad and diverse as the medical field.
Yeah.
Where you have tons of different specialties, and you might talk to one guy, and he's technically in IT, but what he really does is software development.
Right.
Right?
Got it.
Because that's going to be its own animal. And then you've got defensive security. That's its own animal, right? And so you've got all of these different subgenres within IT. So yeah, there's a lot of them. But the cool part is most businesses usually only have a couple of problems right now, right? It's not like you have to worry about, well, I need to drill down on 11 different things.
11. That's one of my favorite numbers.
Good Great number. Usually, you can focus on one or two things, right? Fix those things, then go to the next thing, right? Start making steps to improve. It's just like with your own business. In every other aspect of your business, you identify a problem, you solve that problem, and then you go to the next thing, and you go to the next thing, and you go to the next thing, and you do that for 5 years, and all of a sudden your business is looking pretty good. It's no different with IT.
Okay. You know, and then you can quote the words from the legendary poet Vanilla Ice. And if there's a problem, I'll solve it. It's one of my favorite lines.
I like it.
He's a cool dude, man. That's one of the guys I actually loved in music, and he's still around. So what's one thing that the average solopreneur, entrepreneur, even multi-use, what's one thing people can do right now to fix internet security? Because I think we can all agree internet security, keeping your stuff safe from spyware, is it malware or is it malware?
Malware.
Okay, I thought that was a pick at dudes. So malware is a better word. I mean, what's something everybody can do today that they can hear your voice and go do a thing? What would that one thing be?
Password manager.
Yeah.
And if you already have one of those, better email security. Yep. Password managers are the perfect fusion of theory and practicality.
Oh,
they make your life easier, they save you time, and they also make your life more secure. And there's no reason not to use them. They're free password managers that work great. Bitwarden's fantastic. It's what I provide to my customers. 1Password's great.
1Password, what was the first one you said?
Bitwarden.
Bitwarden?
Yep.
You heard of these, Kenneth?
I have.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that.
So,
Kenneth is cool like that.
Tyler, do you want to share with us what's the primary reason why we need a password manager?
Yeah.
What's going to save our life there?
Yep. Most people reuse passwords. And the easiest way to get into anything is to ask someone what their password is.
Yeah.
If I just send somebody an email that looks relatively convincing that says, hey, will you log into this real quick?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, someone will log into it, and now you have their password, and because you also have their email address, now you have access to most of their life because they're going to have used that password and that email to create an account on almost everything.
Yeah.
I had that today. I'm working on Tulsa B.O.N.G.com, working on the Cashflows at Tulsa B.O.N.G.com with our, I don't know what their actual title is, but they work on websites, and I'm going to make some stuff up there. Web technician, or they're building the site.
Yeah.
And
your web designer.
Yeah, I found out the files are not in the computer.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but she sent me something about where you log into the deal, and so I just copied and pasted the email, the login, the password, and texted it to her, and she goes, "Oh, I really don't want you doing that. Like, you just asked me for it." Anyway, she says, "Can you just delete it from your text, and I'll do the same. That doesn't need to be out there anywhere." Did I get that right by deleting it?
Yep.
Yeah, she got on me, but she also said, "Hey, can you get me the email and the password?" So I just texted it right to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got some work to do, Kenneth.
We can help you.
All right. So, have you ever been hacked?
Have I ever been hacked?
Yeah.
No, I've never been hacked.
Yeah. There's a lot going on even today in Facebook where people think that they've logged into their account, but most often it looks like it's been cloned. I do know what that means. What's your defense for the average person on Facebook from people stealing some part of your identity?
Yeah, so with Facebook, anything you put on Facebook, you are putting out in the public domain for public use. So any image that you have, any information that you give out is all for use to anyone. So if you have a Facebook account, understand that, because that is your best defense, is knowing the reality of what you're engaging with.
Right.
Facebook can be fine. It can be fine for interacting with people. It can be fine for keeping in touch with someone that you don't see on a regular basis. There's a lot of good things that can be said about Facebook.
I agree.
But you also have to be aware that the stuff that you put on there is available to anyone.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to put pictures on there that someone can use to pretend to be you,
right,
that's just another aspect of Facebook.
Another part of risk are your photographs, because somebody can rebuild your life online.
Yes. And so that's usually what you get when you get cloned accounts and people say, oh, well, I've been hacked. Well, actually what's happened is they've taken all your photos and your posts and they've created a new account and pasted all that information onto it.
Right. And it looks like you.
And it looks like you.
And now you might get sensitive data from them, or...
Mm-hmm. Yep. And they'll ask your friends, hey, I'm you. And because I'm you and I'm trustworthy, click this link for me real quick.
Ah, okay. And that's where you get the spamware and the malware.
Yep.
Got it.
And so really that's where you can be mindful when you're on Facebook, is pay attention if you get a friend request from somebody you're already friends with.
Okay. This is all stuff, our businesses are both growing, and we have to at least acknowledge what our role is. So how hard is it to get a business up and running efficiently, especially from the security side?
Yeah, it's actually not that hard.
Yeah.
There are a few, I call them data security fundamentals that you want to try and check. And they're all very simple and cheap things. A good chunk of them don't even cost money. And I can get a business set up usually in a day. If it's a small business, I can do it less than a day. Get the business set up, start tracking how information moves within an organization, and then you can start to dial it down a little bit more directly for that business and how it works. But just to get something off the ground, get something better than what they had, it really doesn't take very long at all, and it's a very, very low investment.
Got it.
I mean, when people are talking about IT, they usually think it's expensive, and it can be, to be fair, but it doesn't have to be.
It's one of those where it's expensive to do it, but potentially more expensive not to do it.
Yeah, well, and I would even say it's really not that expensive to do it.
Yeah.
And it is very expensive not to do it.
I literally have no financial visible awareness. Like you could call me and go, dude, this service is $3.95 a month. And I might be going, come on, man, you can do a little better than that. And you might also say, hey, it's $496 a day. And I'd be like, yeah, I don't know. That sounds right.
Right.
I absolutely don't know. I think most people are that way. It's one of those where they just assume some number they can't afford.
Usually that's the case, yeah. Especially with smaller businesses that are growing, right? Because you've got enough problems. I mean, cash flow is hard enough when you're a small business, and then you start trying to worry about all the stuff that you don't really understand in the mix.
Right.
That's why finding somebody that you can talk to that is willing to speak your language.
Right.
And not just vomit a bunch of information and say, well, you need, this thing and that thing and the other thing and the deal. No. Stop.
Collaborate and listen.
Yes.
Sorry.
Talk to the person on terms that they understand.
Yeah.
And everybody wins.
I work in the financial biz, and the number one compliment somebody could give to me is like, wow, you make all this mumbo jumbo easier to understand. So you're the same guy.
I try to be.
Just a lot smarter.
I don't know about that.
I think that if we had a competition, it would be over pretty quickly. So if you want to talk to Tyler Troxell, you can reach out to him at www.aegissecurity.com and get some of these questions answered. And, I mean, this is one of those things. I mean, people make all these vows at the front of the year. This is my year. I'm going to the top this year. But if you don't have a proper IT protection system, you may not be actually going to the top.
Yeah.
I think it's
probably
like the
won't, actually.
best starting point for the year is to go have a checkup.
Oh, for sure.
Very cool. So a lot of IT companies use fear.
Unfortunately.
Like here's the 8 reasons why you're probably not going to make it through the year.
Mm-hmm. You're going to get hit with 10,000 malware this year.
Yeah. Well, talk to me about that. That just seems only kind of sort of legit.
Yeah, it's one of those sales tactics that technically works because people are motivated by fear.
Yeah.
I dislike it. Yeah, you can conduct business that way, but you shouldn't buy something based on fear. You should buy it because it's the right thing to do. And that has nothing to do with fear. That's a logical deduction.
Yeah.
So if it's right for your business, then you should do it. And if it's not right for your business, then you shouldn't do it. But me sitting here telling you, well, 80% of threats come through malware should not factor into your decision other than, do we need malware protection?
Yeah, I'm pretty legit. We are here today with Tyler Troxell, AegisSecurity.com. Aegis is AEGIS?
AegisSecurity.tech, yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, AegisSecurity.tech. I've said it wrong about 9 times now. AegisSecurity.tech. Tech is TECH.
There we go.
There's no .com in your
No
label.
.com.
Yeah, so everybody's burned out on .com. AegisSecurity.tech. We're with Tyler Troxell. Tyler's going to give us a BizBuzz golden nugget. And Mr. Tyler, are we going to do the BizBuzz sound?
Biz Bites?
BizBites. I said BizBuzz.
Biz Bites? Do you want the music with it too?
I think, okay, let's give
Let's
Tyler.
just do the whole thing and get
let's
ready
just-
for today's
let's do
Biz
it.
Bites? Biz Bites? Biz Bites?
Oh, yeah.
We're all just having a ton of fun over here.
Yeah,
I'm having a ton of fun. All right, Tyler Troxell, AegisSecurity.tech.
There we go.
What is your nugget for the entrepreneurs out there watching your show?
Don't wait for motivation.
Ooh, okay. Well, you're not getting off that easy. Go just another minute.
All right.
Tell us what you mean by that.
If you wait for motivation, you'll fail. You have to get up in the morning and decide, I'm going to do the right thing because it's right. Not because I feel like it, not because I want to. Because some mornings you're going to get up and it's going to be hard. Some days you're going to wake up and you're going to have had a bad day before and you're going to go, man, I really just want to sleep in. But you need to just get up and do it anyway because, as you've said many times, success is the byproduct of repeated action in forward direction over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And if you stop and you break that pattern, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
All right. There you go from Tyler Troxell, founder and president of www.aegissecurity.tech. Don't let your computers be running around naked out there in the marketplace. Sometimes you just need a little protection, and this is the man to do it for you. Thank you, Tyler, for being on our show today. That's going to be a wrap for Cashflows. We're glad you're here, and we sure love talking to people who are trying to advance their lives and make a step in the right direction. Kenneth, you still laughing over there?
That was a good one. I enjoyed that.
I made Kenneth actually laugh without the machinery.
Wow.
You mind if I wrap this up?
Yeah, let's not have any more naked computers. Let's just
Is there a better word? Do you guys have an industry
No, I
word?
like that.
No, I think it's great.
Because you said running around in the marketplace, I'm immediately thinking a Facebook marketplace. I'm like, wow, that's the worst place to put a naked computer. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, and I'm just going to admit something right here. It's the worst place to look for one nightstand.
well, that's
I was trying to furnish
Also
my
true.
Airbnb, and I put an ad up looking for one nightstand.
and it did not work
I
out
do
for you.
not think about these kind of things. And the number of emails I got back, man, I'm a simple guy. I had no idea what was about to happen. And I was like, hey, Katie, man, I got a bunch of emails on that deal. I bet we find a nightstand real quick. And then I started opening them, and yeah, that went poorly.
Well, moving right along.
And that really happened. So, well, we were finishing on comedy.
We were.
That was my
That's-
shot at it.
Oh, my
Hey,
word.
let's go out today and be nice to each other. Make good decisions for you and your family. And here's something that will add value to your life immediately. For somebody who absolutely does not deserve it, go out today and forgive somebody. See, friends, forgiveness is not about that other person. It's about you. And you can cut those old boat anchors that you have firmly attached around your waist and to your life in just a phone call or just a measure of niceness where you call somebody up and say, hey, we've had problems and I forgive you. And you don't need it back to you, okay? It is just an act of love. It's an act of kindness. And more importantly, it is about you letting go. There's a big difference between fault and responsibility. Yeah, somebody else might be at fault, but it's your responsibility to do something positive with it. And I pray that you'll go forgive somebody today. And Kenneth, I think that is a wrap. Thanks to all of our friends who are watching. And for those of you that are part of this cash flow things, remember, this show is for you.
That's our show for today. Stay tuned for another riveting edition of Cashflows.